It's coming. IPSathletics.tv. High school sports on the World Wide Web. Every big game on IPSathletics.tv. Football, volleyball, basketball, and much more. Coming this fall, IPSathletics.tv. Let the games begin.
It's the Sports Zone with Keith Myers and the Indiana SRN Sports Team. Made possible by Morales Group, College Hunks and Movers, the IHSAA, and Aspen Creek Grill. Now, let's join Keith and his guests.
Well, good morning on this fine day. Hope that you are doing well. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game. And it is the Sports Zone. I'm Keith Myers. And on the hotline, a good friend of ours from Knightstown, Indiana, the Hoosier Gym, Bob Gardner. Hi, Bob.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. Is the gym still kind of quiet a little bit?
I am sitting here on the visitor's bench in a totally empty, dark gym that seems so strange without basketballs bouncing or fans in the stands or a team practicing. It's something I'm getting used to, although I don't like it very well.
So how many times have you said, Hickory?
I don't do that. I leave that to the visitors.
Okay.
I wore that out on visitors a long time ago.
If you have not been to the Hoosiers Gym, it's located at Knightstown at 355 North Washington Street in Knightstown. It's not open for the public quite yet, but man, once this thing breaks, I think you're going to have a slew of people come and tour the facility.
Well, I think so. Two things. Number one, the amount of people who had rented the gym to come in and play basketball, they've now moved their rentals past what we hope will be the end of the coronavirus. And so we'll be busy then, but we're also coming into hopefully a very busy vacation time. And over the summer, we get a lot of visitors from all over the country. And we're ready for that.
Yeah, but you're, I think we have done either 5 or 6 games in that gymnasium on internet radio, which has been a great response. And we started webcasting. And I do believe this year we had the Washington-Gary Catholic game. The excitement that builds with people in that gymnasium. But outside that, I mean, we had listeners all over the country listening to that ball game. And then we think back, there was a team from Illinois that we covered there as well. And now that webcast I think a lot of teams want us to do some webcast games there. But it's a lot of fun because everybody wants to be part of that gymnasium.
Yeah, the webcasting has become a big thing. So many of the schools have inquired about it, but they were not ready to implement it. And so as that grows, I think a business like yours is going to have many of opportunities, especially when you have teams coming from Mississippi and Virginia and Pennsylvania and Missouri. That is not conducive to a lot of fans necessarily. But if they really follow the team, that gives them the opportunity of not only seeing the game, but getting to see the Hoosier Gym and exactly what their kids are experiencing.
Bob, if you would, tell us a little bit. 1985 is when they started the film, and that's when it was released. How many days did they spend in the gymnasium? How long did it take you guys to get that set up to be exactly what they wanted? Because I know you were back instrumental about that area.
Well, I was not here at that time.
Wow.
When I played on the last team in 66 and left, and I was not back in the gym the first time until August of 2015.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And but those who were here, they filmed for about 3 weeks. They filmed for a while, then they went away, filmed at other locations, and then came back and finalized it. But there was not a lot done to it. In fact, if you look at the floor today versus the floor what it looked like in the movie, the floor wasn't even touched. It had all those years of abuse between 66 and 85, and it was only when they wanted to do a replay of the Milan-Muncie Central game here in the gym that Reebok came in and refinished the floor for us, and that's why it looks as good as it does today.
That's pretty impressive. How many players have played in that gymnasium? Do you know?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Well, we've had 15 years of all-star games, and that's 50 times 15. And just in the last 3 years, we've had over 300 basketball games. So each team's got 12 players.
Yeah.
So the number continues to grow. When you talk about past players, though, when you think about the quality of players on the girls' side,
Right.
Jackie Young, who was the current number 1 draft choice in the WNBA last year, and Skylar Diggins has played here, and Kelly Ferris. It's been phenomenal. And on the guys' side, everyone from, Eric Gordon and Gordon Hayward, and just on down the line, Grillen Robinson III. It's just amazing. We've had a total of 20 guys who have gone on to play in the NBA, and 8 young ladies who have gone on to the WNBA. And that does not include all of those who've gone to Europe and Asia to play.
It's amazing. I love talking to every single time I talk to you. You give me that educational background and all those things, which is kind of cool. The community involvement with you guys. I know you do a can drive and those things as well. Talk a little bit about what you do around for the community.
Well, each year before Christmas, on Christmas Eve, there's a group here in town called the Cheer Guild. And we have them use the gym, and they come in. And I think this year we did right at 200 families, and that's about a month's supply of food, plus the kids in those families make out their Christmas list. And I can assure you that everything on that list is received by those kids. And it's done through donations from the community, and we ended up with over 150 individuals from the town here coming in to wrap gifts. Every one of those kids' gifts get wrapped, and if you can't come in here on Christmas Eve and get a lump in your throat, then you need to examine your heart.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the academy is also part of that, right?
The academy next door, the new owner of the academy has done a marvelous job of starting to remodel it, and we are working very closely with them. And in fact, through the efforts of Knightstown Kids Incorporated, the gym couldn't do it because we're nonprofit, but the Knightstown Kids Incorporated got a $50,000 grant from the NBA. And for years, as I was growing up, there were always basketball courts on the south end of that academy yard, and they were taken out. And they're going to be rebuilt. The court is going to be identical in dimension and look just like the court inside here. And in fact, we're taking down 2 of the side baskets to use the bank boards out there. They're going to be treated, and you'll actually have Hoosier Gym bank boards out on that court.
How cool is that? I mean, isn't that so cool that you just keep on growing it and growing it and growing it? Before we take our break, Bob, talk a little bit about the All-Star Game. You mentioned it earlier before, but the All-Star Game is a huge event. I know I got to be involved with it maybe 7 years ago. There was not an empty seat in the house. It's just rockin' soccer and really some great games. Usually come down to the last second or two.
Well, you don't want me to cry on the radio, do you?
Yeah, you can cry all you want, Bob. I'll give you a Kleenex.
We were scheduled for April 11th.
Yes.
Obviously, the April 11th game was just couldn't be played. We've rescheduled tentatively for either May 23rd or June 6th. I'm hoping that we will be able to have the game. I have spoken with the majority of players who, in fact, the players who have agreed to come and play fill most of the girls and boys teams that would have been the Indiana team on the Indiana Kentucky All-Star game. And it's a great event. If we have to play it with empty stands and only bringing the girls in for their game and making them leave, and then the boys come in for their game and make them leave, we're going to try to do it, because let's face it, we got great senior basketball players who've lost the opportunity. The guys even in the state tournament, and all of the all-star games are gone. So we're going to make every effort to get it done. The majority of players I've talked to still want to come and play. And when you talk about the quality of players, last year, for example, we had 11 of the 13 guys from the Indiana All-Star team, and 10 or 11 of the girls. And especially in the boys' game, something happened that will never happen again. And I was telling Matt Painter this summer. I said we had Trace Jackson Davis coming down the left side, going in for a dunk probably to tie the game, and he spotted Purdue-bound Isaiah Thompson out on the wing, fed the ball to Isaiah, who made a three-pointer to win it for Hickory. So that'll never happen again. IU passing to Purdue for a winning basket.
But you notice who made the basket was the Purdue guy.
Well, only because of the assist from the IU guy.
Okay, Bob. Hey, we're going to take a 2-minute break. When we come back, we got a lot more for you, okay?
Okay.
Hey, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Zone on Indiana SRN.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory. Thousands of people get jobs here from all of these diverse backgrounds. We're helping write that story of that better future that we know they can get, we know that they deserve.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
So you called us because you're stressed from all that clutter taking up your space. The best part is we do all the heavy lifting for you, so you can just sit back and relax. Our hunks call at least 20 to 30 minutes prior to your appointment window. You don't need to lift a finger except to point what items you would like us to haul away. Thanks again for choosing College Hunks Hauling Junk, and we look forward to providing you with a stress-free hauling experience.
You're listening to Indiana SRN, God's Word 24/7, and sports.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Craving comfort fresh food made from scratch daily? Check out Aspen Creek Grill. Located across from Hamilton Town Center and beside the Holiday Inn, we offer family farm-raised premium Black Agnes steaks hand-cut daily, creamy pastas, salmon chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Start with our famous powwow shrimp appetizer, and don't miss our refreshing drinks. Family-friendly or a great night out with friends. Aspen Creek Grill. Aspen Creek Grill, Noblesville. Call 317-559-3300.
You're listening to Indiana SRN, home for God's Word 24/7 and sports. Back on the Sports Zone on Indiana SRN. Thank you very much. If you would like to visit the Hoosier Gym in Knightstown, they open Sunday through Friday from 12 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 5. They are closed now because of the virus. They'll reopen as soon as that is they get permission to do that. They also close on major holidays and on game days. And boy, there is a lot of game days, as we mentioned. I counted during the break, Bob. I think we've done 12 games already in that gymnasium in the years that we've done internet and webcast TV. So I don't know if we're the leader yet, but boy, we're pretty close.
You're probably at the top of that. And when you talked about games, right now the game schedule for 2021 is filling up rapidly. And again, we have teams coming from major distances to play here.
Give them your email address if someone's listening to this outside the Indiana area that might want to play a game there. How do they get a hold of you?
Info, I-N-F-O, at thehoosiergym.com.
Let's talk a little bit about the movie. The Hoosiers movie runs every day. Do you have it on right now?
It is not on right now because I don't need to see it.
Okay. How many times has it played a day?
Oh my! It plays nonstop from the time we come in at noon till we leave at 5. It's on a continuous loop, and whenever we're even on game days,
right?
That whenever there's individuals in the gym, the movie's playing.
Okay. Here's the tough question: has Jimmy ever missed the shot?
He's missed it once.
Oh, really? I missed that one.
No, he for some unknown reason, it always goes in. So,
yeah,
which it would be a real bad movie if it didn't go in.
the best I like though is Ollie's free throw. I that's my best part of the movie.
Well, everyone has. That's what's interesting. It's almost like people who come here, they walk in and they see the gym. But the majority of people love the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
And in the movie, everyone has a different favorite scene. And mine just happens to be when after Shooter runs a picket fence, you did good, Pop. You did real good.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite.
You know, you last time we were there, you took me downstairs and looked at all the jerseys that people have given you and posted. There's like a Hall of Fame of jerseys down in the locker rooms.
Well, it's interesting. It started with one team that wanted to leave a jersey, and this has been a few years back. Now almost every team that comes and plays wants to leave a jersey, and it's interesting that we have so many now that we have to rotate them on a yearly basis. And in fact, I just did a video. We had an individual and his family from Spain here this summer, and this year's the 50th anniversary of their basketball club, and I just did a video for them showing where their jersey's hanging in the gym, talking about the movie. And that is going to be the highlight of their celebration. And it's amazing that a basketball club in Spain loves the movie Hoosiers.
Yeah, well, I need to bring you one of our SRN polo shirts, and then I got to bring two because you got to sit when we start doing these games again. You got to sit and you got to do the commentary with us because you're the best halftime guest I ever had.
I got news for you. On games, I'm very, very, very busy.
I know. Well, you have to sweep the floor. You got to. Here's what I love.
You got to do it all.
Here's what I love, Bob, is when everybody comes in, and this happened to me this year twice when we came. Everybody came in. You give them the rules. You give them the over and back rule, and then you say, now, have any questions? If you're going to sub, you're going to sub at both ends, and we're going to have someone to bring you in the game. And the officials are like, okay, this is kind of, because it's a totally different format. You got to go watch a basketball game there because it is just really so cool.
Well, when you think about it, the narrowness of the sidelines and the over and back of the court being short, it does make it unique. And the last thing you want is in a basketball game to have someone mess up because you didn't explain the rules. Now, what's interesting, we've only had one instance in 3 years where a player screwed up the over and back, but we've had officials do it 4 times. So they're not infallible.
We already knew that, didn't we, Bob? You coached this game long enough. You know that. Hey, wrapping things up, thank you very much for spending some time with us this morning. What would be, I know you have lots of memories, but what's the best thing you love about your job? Because you don't even go to work every day. You enjoy what you do.
Well, it would be this. That, and I tell volunteers here, the other volunteers, that people come here because they want to come here. So 99% of them are happy when they get here. And Our job is to make them feel even better when they leave. And that's the beauty of this, is the extraordinary range of people you meet, 62 countries, every state in the United States multiple times, and just meeting great people, hearing what the movie has meant to them, and that's the best part of what I do.
I thank you very much for always opening up the door for us. You never have said no. We thank you very much for doing that. I know that we're going to meet again and talk really soon, but I thank you for spending some time with us today.
Okay, Keith, thank you very much.
We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Sports Zone on Indiana SRN.
It's been said the night is always darkest just before the dawn. Maybe you can relate right now. But make no mistake about it, a new day is dawning. Opportunity and promise are on the horizon for all of us. And just like in high school sports, we'll trust honesty, empathy, hard work, and humility to bring out the best in us and show us the way. The IHSAA will look for you at a high school game or meet very soon.
Piper Group Warehouse has a strong commitment to their clients as their logistics provider. If you would like to discover how you can improve your service levels while lowering your overall cost, Piper Logistics Group can help. Call Greg Piper today at 317-396-3916. Piper Logistics Group.
Do you want to hear your favorite team on IndianaSRN.org? It's easy to do, calling all the play-by-play and colored commentary. High school sports along with youth sport, Mr. Wizard is waiting for your call. Contact him at 317-443-0052. We're ready for every touchdown, basket, and goal. Contact Mr. Wizard, 317-443-0052. You're listening to Indiana SRN, God's Word 24/7, and sports. Welcome to the Sports Zone. Joining us now on the hotline, good friend of ours from Michigan, where it snowed in April and early May. It's Bill Houston. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Keith. How you doing?
I'm tired of winter. I'm ready for baseball weather, and I'm ready to watch some baseball. Maybe go up to Michigan and see the Whitecaps play.
Yeah, there you go. We're moving in the right direction. We'll get some spring going here.
Talk a little bit about the ministry of Power Up and how you got involved with that.
Franchise in Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids Rampage, and I had the opportunity to serve as their team chaplain for about 10 years. And it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that, and absolutely fell in love with that ministry and the opportunity to reach out to athletes and coaches with Bible studies and one-on-one conversation opportunities. And I just fell in love with it. And that's kind of how the Power Up opportunity was birthed, by holding annual conferences where we would bring sports chaplains, sports ministry leaders together, and we would spend the day sharing ideas and getting together, hearing some great speakers, and that's how it began, and that was back in 2001.
Wow, here all of a sudden, that's been a long time. I know we met in Indianapolis at one of the conferences. I think Todd Mello and I went, and I introduced you to you. Was introduced to you. I shared what we did as Indiana Sports Radio Network, and you were kind of excited about that. And now all of a sudden, we got some web TV stations that we're involved with. And last year we covered over 300 games. This year our season got cut a little short because of the academic. But man, what a great ministry you guys have had, and you've been an impact to me. Times every day I look at that Facebook page and I hear some. Really some great motivational speakers here lately. You helped the ministry and the ministry people that are involved. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Well, I tell you, Keith, it's a real blessing, and it's an opportunity to, again, reach out to those who, like many of us, in our homes, we're working from home, and just on Facebook and have an opportunity to hear from different chaplains and those involved in sports outreach. just share some encouraging words and some words from Scripture. It does us all good, and it's been a blessing to me. And I know you participated in that, and I want to thank you for that. So it's been a blessing, and it's been fun to watch. Your network grow and what's been happening there with SRN. So just a lot of fun, and we're very thankful for all those things.
And you never know, we may end up in Michigan somewhere to do a game, and we'll have to get you in the booth.
Oh, there you go. Now, let me tell you something. I would love that. You let me know when that happens. I'll be there.
I'll see if I can make arrangements and see if we can get that taken care of. In Indiana, SRN, in Michigan, that would be great. You can do it. It's
expansion. That's what it's all about.
Well, we have gone to Tennessee, and we've also gone to Nashville. So, anything's possible. So maybe that would be great. Tell us, Bill, who got you motivated, and when did you get saved? And then how did you know that this is what you want to do the rest of your life?
That's a big question and a good one. I appreciate the opportunity to share some of that. I was saved in February 1982 through the ministry of a Southern Baptist church in the state of Maryland, where I was living at the time, and moved to Michigan, our family, to take a position with what at that time was Radio Bible Class. And then it became RBC Ministries, and now it's Our Daily Bread Ministries. But I came here to work in radio, much like yourself, and just have a love and a passion for radio, still do, and love doing those types of things. And I was working with a radio program at the time called Sports Spectrum. And it was a nationwide program where we interviewed Christian athletes and coaches. And that's kind of how I fell into this whole chaplaincy thing. When the Arena Football League team once again came to town in Grand Rapids, I just placed a call to their office one day and said, hey, I would love to say hello to your team chaplain and introduce them to Our Daily Bread. And the voice on the other end, a gentleman by the name of Bob Sack, Bob said to me, Bill, we don't have a chaplain. Are you interested? And I just kind of sat there, Keith, and I thought, wow. I said, Bob, I know teams have chaplains, but what that means and what they do, I really don't know. Well, long story short, I became their team chaplain that next season. And, again, just fell in love with that. And it's been a passion of mine ever since. So I just love getting together every year and sitting down with other team chaplains and sports ministry leaders, learning from them, hearing from them what they do in ministry. And that's what the Power Up outreach is all about. Get together annually in Grand Rapids. We're hoping to possibly expand that and go back to Indy or Houston or wherever the Lord may lead down the road. But it's an opportunity to bring sports ministry folks together for a day to hear some great speakers. Last year, Clark Kellogg was our keynote. You know Clark, and he's outstanding. And it's a day just to kind of come together, again, share ideas, hear from some great speakers, receive some training as it relates to sports ministry, and then also, browse some great resources from many different ministries. And that's one of the tools that chaplains are looking for. They're looking for resources and things that they can share with the players and coaches that will help them grow in their faith, and help the chaplains as well. Be able to share Bible studies with them and one-on-one opportunities and so forth. So that's kind of what Power Up in a nutshell is all about. It's reaching out to those who are doing sports ministry and helping them come together to get to know one another across the country, and then also to share resources together, and then ultimately, hopefully, get many of them to come to one of our conferences where they can sit down face-to-face and spend the day together.
You said you started in radio. You and I had the same thing in common, that, I started this internet radio station many, many years ago, and a lot of people said, thank goodness you did radio because you had no face for TV. Now that I'm on webcast TV, now they want to know, is it true that you do gain 20 pounds because of the video? And I said, no, that's me eating concession stand food in the booth. Bill, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about maybe your favorite memory or two, and we'll take a break, and we'll come right back in about 2 minutes. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back right after this. You're listening to the Sports Zone on Indiana SRN.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory. Thousands of people get jobs here from all of these diverse backgrounds. We're helping write that story of that better future that we know they can get, we know that they deserve.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
So you called us because you're stressed from all that clutter taking up your space. The best part is we do all the heavy lifting for you, so you can just sit back and relax. Our hunks call at least 20 to 30 minutes prior to your appointment window. You don't need to lift a finger except to point what items you would like us to haul away. Thanks again for choosing College Hunks Hauling Junk, and we look forward to providing you with a stress-free hauling experience.
You're listening to Indiana SRN, God's Word 24/7, and sports.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Craving comfort fresh food made from scratch daily? Check out Aspen Creek Grill. Located across from Hamilton Town Center and beside the Holiday Inn, we offer family farm-raised premium Black Agnes steaks hand-cut daily, creamy pastas, salmon chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Start with our famous powwow shrimp appetizer, and don't miss our refreshing drinks. Family-friendly or a great night out with friends. Aspen Creek Grill. Aspen Creek Grill, Noblesville. Call 317-559-3300.
You're listening to Indiana SRN, home for God's Word 24/7 and sports. Welcome back to the Sports Zone on Indiana SRN. You can contact us at coach@IndianaSRN. If you have any suggestions for the show, please send us an email, coach@IndianaSRN. Bill Houston joins us. He is from the Power Up Ministry. And, you know, Our Daily Bread every day, I get that devotion from Our Daily Bread. It's amazing of this time in our lives, how you depend on the God's Word and how solid it is. And I know your relationship with the Lord is pretty solid as well. But, man, God has blessed us in this situation. And I don't ever want to go back and forget the Lord or His Word. And I thank you for your ministry of doing that.
Well, I appreciate that, Keith. That means a lot. Our team there at Our Daily Bread, they work diligently all year long. As a matter of fact, probably a year in advance to when you actually see that article. And so they have worked hard to bring the truth of God's Word to the page and also to the screen if you're looking at it via app or online. And we're very thankful for the opportunities that God has given us to share His Word, to share encouragement. And so thanks, Keith, for what you're doing and for being a part of that family that reads Our Daily Bread each day. We sure do appreciate that.
I appreciate that as well. Let's talk about your favorite sports memory. You got 90 seconds or more. You take your time. I don't want to rush you, but your favorite sports memory, you have one or two?
Yeah, I have a few. I remember, for example, when Sports Spectrum Radio was part of Our Daily Bread, and we were broadcasting every week, and we would head to the Super Bowl, to the Final Fours, and it was such an honor. I mean, and what an opportunity, the Lord gave us. And I remember an opportunity once there, right there in Indianapolis, when Tony Dungy was the head coach of the Colts. We had made arrangements to go to the practice facility to do an interview with Tony. We had about, I think they gave us 7 or 8 minutes. That was the window of time that we had. And I got there bright and early that morning. It's about a 4.5-hour drive from Grand Rapids. And I got there bright and early, ready to go. Didn't want to miss the opportunity. And I'm just kind of walking around and just kind of killing time, waiting for my window of opportunity to talk with Tony Dungy. And he came walking out all by himself, heading out to the practice field. And I stepped up and introduced myself and said, Tony, really looking forward to our interview later this morning, and just want to thank you for that. And he said, Bill, let's do it right now. Walk on out to the field with me. And I mean, he was so down to earth and just made you feel like, golly, you've known this guy for 20 years, you know, and certainly that wasn't the case at all, but he made me feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's how you did a lot of people in your ministry, because you walk up to them and you make them feel like home. And that's why I have a lot of respect for you and your ministry, because we don't have strangers. I mean, we talk to each other maybe 3 times a year, and you never, ever not have enough time for me. And for that, I am thankful.
Oh, I appreciate that, Keith. And likewise, you guys have been great to us. And another memory I'll share that maybe wasn't as pleasant. It was actually quite embarrassing, to be honest with you. And the other memory I can think of, Keith, was when Rudy Tomjanovich was head coach of the Olympic men's basketball team. And we were in Houston, and they were having an Olympic media summit. And I was standing behind Rudy because so many people were there. And so you're just trying to get your mic in there as best you can, so you can get some good audio. And I was holding the mic in one hand and a small DAT recorder in the other hand. And I mean, I felt like I'd been standing there for 2 hours. You know, I didn't want to miss any of it. And my arms got tired, my hands got tired, and I dropped the recording unit on the stage. And it made this huge thumping sound. Everybody just kind of stopped, and they turned and they look at you. Rudy turns around and he looks at me and didn't say a word, just turned around, and I was so embarrassed. You know, you feel the redness start at your feet and goes all the way up, you know, to the top of your head. And I was so embarrassed by that. But if you've been in this business for any length of time at all, you know, you're going to have moments that are just outstanding. You never forget, like the Tony Dungy opportunity. And then you have those moments, well, you'd just as soon forget about, but I thought you would enjoy hearing something like that because you can relate.
Yeah, sometimes you just feel like you want to go underneath a rock, and there's no rock to go under.
Yeah, and then there is no rock.
Yeah. Hey, I know you're a busy man. I know you got a lot of things. This year's conference, they still going to have it, or have you guys decided what you're going to do with that?
Well, we're planning on it. It will be October the 6th, Lord willing, in Grand Rapids at our office. And it's an all-day event. Chris Broussard from Fox Sports will be our keynote speaker. And we're just looking forward to a great day together. And we're just hoping that the Lord will allow us to hold the conference, to bring everyone together. And so almost day by day, like everybody else is doing. And we'll see what happens. But right now it is scheduled. It will be October 6th. In Grand Rapids, and we'd love to have just anyone listening who's involved in sports ministry to head on up to Grand Rapids and spend the day with us. I hope you can come, Keith.
Okay. And if there's any chaplains out there, how can they get a hold of you or get a hold of your material? Go ahead. This is your 30-second radio spot. It's free, and this one's free for you. You don't have to pay for this one.
Oh, this is great. Thank you, Keith. Well, they can email me. My email address is bill.houston, just like the city in Texas, bill.houston@odb.org. Or they can look us up on Facebook. Just, go to the bar right there at the top and type in Power Up Sports Ministry, and you'll find a page there, and we'll keep you up to date on the conference and all the other great stuff that the Lord gives us opportunity to share throughout the year. And so those are the two best ways right now to get in touch with us. And I'll respond to every one of those emails and look forward to getting them. And what we will do is we'll forward that onto our website as well, and keep reminding people, because we follow you on a daily basis. So if there's something that we can do for our schools or our chaplains, we'll be more than happy to do that as well. Anything we can do to help, let us know. And we appreciate you, Keith, all you're doing there, and look forward to the opportunity to get together again and give one another an embrace in the Lord's name. that social distancing will be a thing of the past at that point.
God bless you, Bill. We'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. We're going to take a break.
God bless, Keith.
Okay. When we take a break, we'll come back after this. You're listening to the Sports Zone on Indiana SRN. It is Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game. Cindy Cleary joins us, or should I say Mama Cleary. Hi, Mama.
Well, hello, Keith. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm old enough to be your dad, so I don't know how I can call you Mama, but people at Covenant Christian calls you Mama Cleary, and you are definitely a mother hen for those kids at the high school, aren't you?
Oh, I try to be. I try to take good care of them.
You know, Indiana SRN has been involved with Covenant Christian for about 9 years. As a parent, because you have seen it on the other side, you've seen it as an administrator and as a parent. Talk to people maybe who are new to Indiana SRN as this show has been developing, as we've been doing this now for about 9 weeks. Share with them a parent way of thinking about what we do.
Well, we came to Covenant when our oldest was a sophomore in high school, so we really hadn't experienced anything like a program like SRN that comes to the sporting events. So that was certainly our first experience at that level of having coverage of our kids' sporting events. But from a parent's perspective, you just can't ask for anything better. When I think of SRN and my students at Covenant and also my own children, Romans 12:18 always comes to mind. And paraphrasing that is, basically the passage that talks about as much as lies within you, do good unto all men, especially to those of the household of faith. And I think that pretty much sums up the intent and the effort that SRN tries to put towards all student athletes, no matter what school they are broadcasting at, whether that's Covenant Christian High School or somewhere else. They really try, you, Keith, and your crew, try really hard to do the best you can for our students and for our kids. And in a nutshell, that's how I feel about SRN.
You know, you've had a daughter who had played basketball for Indiana SRN. We had Joe Smith on the show about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, and he mentioned that he hired an assistant that played for him, and I'm thinking, oh, I know who that is. And, Joe Smith elaborated on that, that when we walk in the door, we don't expect anything from the community other than let us have a spot and we'll do whatever we can, and we're going to be hidden in the background. But we do, every single child, they are very important to us. And now that we have grown into this larger network, if you will, it's been a blessing for us. When you first started, it was just internet radio. Now it's web TV, and as an administrator, you have tied in with that with Perfect Fit for Covenant Christian and those spots, because you want the whole entire community and the alumni to buy into this ministry, because we are an addition to the family.
Absolutely. That's probably the best way to put it. You are an addition to our Covenant family. Things like picking up the phone and calling me as a staff member and saying, hey, we want to put an ad out there for you to help you get people to learn more about Covenant and what you have to offer to kids. What can we do to help you? It's not me calling Keith and saying, hey, can you do this for me? It goes back to that, what I said, SRN trying to do good for all. You looked to me and said, what can I do to help you? And we rolled with that. And in fact, my son was the voice of our commercial in the very beginning. So not only did you help me, you gave him an opportunity to give a try at communications. And so that was fun for him. And it also was good for our students to hear a student being pulled in and used to help promote the school too. So definitely addition to the family for sure.
And if I remember correctly, your son was also a play-by-play announcer for one whole season, and then he moved away, and he's now become famous, and he no longer has anything to do with this. And all kidding aside, but it is he had an opportunity, and he's still working on that skill, which is really kind of cool.
He did. After he left and moved away to Florida to go to a small Christian college down there, they pulled him right in, and he was announcing volleyball games and basketball games. And I would get messages from friends who lived in the area saying, "There's this really cool announcer at the school, and he's your son." I'm like, "Yep." And he got his first break with SRN. So thank you.
Yeah, and then your daughter now is getting married, and you say sometime in July. We can do that live broadcast if you want us to do that. We could put that on our network, and also then maybe we could branch it off to the Indiana High School Athletic Association because maybe they need some content sometime in July. We would be happy to do that for you for a price.
I will pass that message on to her. I'm not sure she can handle that pressure. That's more pressure than she had on the court.
I know exactly what she'd say. She would say, "Stay away, coach, stay away." Let's talk a little bit about, as an administrator, you said hand in hand, and there's a lot of schools, maybe when we get done with this whole entire quarantine, the fan base may be a little bit different. You see an opportunity for Indiana SRN to broadcast those games, and because maybe the fan may not be as intent of coming. Do you see that as a possibility? And what opportunities would that be for not only the school to broadcast for us, but or broadcast us doing that broadcast, or how would the school adapt to that?
Well, certainly these are uncertain times, and craziest thing I've ever lived through. I think pretty much anyone else and alive at the same time has really never seen anything like this. So we really don't know what to expect, and I think that's where the uncertainty comes. But you could play that out in your head and see it as, okay, maybe they allow games to happen, but fans are reduced or limited, or maybe even not allowed to be there. So SRN will have a huge opportunity there to bring the game home for families if they're not able to attend those games. And that still gives our athletes in other schools the opportunity to showcase their skills, maybe be seen by a college recruiter, or even just their grandma and their grandpa who may not even feel safe still coming out, even though maybe the government says it's okay. So that's a wide open door and a great opportunity for SRN to go to work.
Let's talk a little bit about you yourself. I know you and your husband catch a lot of games. You don't have any children now at Covenant Christian. However, you think that whole entire student body is yours, which I love, because when I come visit you in your office, you always have kids in your office, and they're stealing candy, and I can't get a Reese cup in your office. I don't know why I can't get a Reese cup.
Let's be honest, they're there for Mama Cleary's Blondies. And they're always hopeful there'll be a pan of those laying around. But
and when I get there, they're never there, so that's good.
Oh, they don't last long, that's for sure.
But talk about the sports, why you still attend, and I understand you work there in your administration, but you're really a Covenant warrior through and through.
Absolutely. There are always kids that you connect to more than others. Obviously one person can't connect with all 370 some students, but we all have particular ones that are drawn to us, or we are drawn to them, or we're able to speak into their lives, pray with them, and talk with them through things that are going on. And for me, a lot of that still comes through the basketball arena. And even some of the football players. So you'll see me at football games and soccer games. Mostly you'll see me at basketball. Let's be honest. The Cleary family is a basketball family through and through.
Yes.
But there are always girls that and the whole team, I just love to come and watch them play their hearts out. And, they are my kids. That's why they call me Mama Cleary, because I give them their hugs and treat them just like I would one of my own, and that means coming to watch them too, and just supporting the school and the coaches. I know what it's like to be the wife of a coach. My husband did that through the years for my kids. So I like to support those coaches and Gossel and Pfeiffer and all of them and all that they do for the school as well, too.
You also like to make fun of broadcasters because you do that, especially when I don't match. You very clearly make sure that I match the next time. And now that Debbie comes, you guys color coordinated because there seems to I wear a lot of green and maroon when I'm at your school.
We have a lot of fun with you, that's for sure. You know, one of my fondest memories of watching my own kids play is just something that SRN did for me personally. You provided me the opportunity to sit there in the stands and be a good fan and be quiet and still listen to the games. So I don't know if you know this or not, but many games, I would have an earbud in my ear listening to your broadcast, your live broadcast, while I'm watching my child play on the floor. And that just allowed me to just be a little bit better of a fan. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And I remember calling her McClurry for about 3 games until Papa McClurry or Cleary says, no, it's Cleary. So, hey, we're going to take a 2-minute break. When we come back, I want you to think about another fond memory you have about Covenant Christian Athletics. And you can put your daughter in that memory if you like.
Sounds good.
We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll be back. You're listening to The Sports Zone on Indiana SRN.
It's been said the night is always darkest just before the dawn. Maybe you can relate right now. But make no mistake about it, a new day is dawning. Opportunity and promise are on the horizon for all of us. And just like in high school sports, we'll trust honesty, empathy, hard work, and humility to bring out the best in us and show us the way. The IHSAA will look for you at a high school game or meet very soon.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory. Thousands of people get jobs here from all of these diverse backgrounds. We're helping write that story of that better future that we know they can get, we know that they deserve.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
Just 2 years ago, internet radio seemed to be a mysterious phenomenon. It was available for use, but there wasn't much data. That has changed. Today, there is a growing body of information on internet radio. 7 out of 10 people ages 18 to 45 prefer to listen to internet radio than a terrestrial radio station. If you're interested in reaching this audience, email us at coach@indianasrn.org. We look forward to sharing our low rates with you and help to market your business. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Indiana. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
You're listening to Indiana SRN, God's Word 24/7, and sports. Back on Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game. It's the Sports Zone. Cindy Cleary joins us. Let's see, you're the administrator of marketing. Is that correct?
Well, more recruitment and admissions for the school.
And you can
bringing in those new students.
Yeah, you can recruit any business you want our way.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Be happy to do that. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your favorite memory as a parent that you can remember back in the great basketball arena that you are a great fan of.
Oh, wow. So many memories. I've got 3 kids that have come through and played in sports at Covenant. So, it's hard to top going to a state championship. So that would probably be one of my best memories is watching the girls 2016 team take themselves down to downtown and play for that state championship. They weren't successful at winning the championship, but they were very successful at representing Covenant well. So that's probably my top memory. decorating the cars and the big long procession downtown and hearing all the horns honking along the way, just fun memories. But from as a parent, those are the highlights, but really there's just nothing that brings you more joy than to watch your own kids out on the field and see them in their older years play to the best of their ability and be good sports, show good sportsmanship and exemplify all of the things that you have tried in the backyard on the court to teach them through the years. So just that overall, watching your kids play for the love of the game, that's just probably the best memory that I have.
Let's wrap this up, Cindy. Who would be your hero?
Who would be my hero? Oh, obviously as a Christian, Jesus comes to mind and God comes to mind. By all means, that's the ultimate hero. Two of the greatest heroes in my life, probably my husband and my dad. My dad is, there's not even enough time to wrap it up to tell you the kind of hero that he is, but he served our country and he has served my family through the years, and he's the reason we're Christians. So he's ultimately my earthly hero. And then second to him or right alongside of him would be my husband, who has done the same for our kids and our family as well, too. It's always been our number one goal, God be the center of everything that we do, whether it's sports, academics, life, jobs, and he has certainly led our family well that way.
Cindy, I thank you. Boy, I got choked up there for a second. Cindy, I thank you very much for spending some time with us. I know I got you up early because the gym is open 24/7, and I'm sure you closed it last night about 2 a.m., so getting you up at around 11:30 this morning was a feat. But thank you very much for your time.
You are welcome, Keith, anytime. We appreciate you and your team over there at SRN.
Well, that wraps it up for us today. Thank you. Well, you thought Sports Zone is over. It's not. Here's a special edition. Aaron Ferguson joins us. He is putting together Hoosier Helmet Challenge. And Aaron, thanks for joining us. I know you're up in Northwest Indiana and you listen to the Sports Zone, but tell us a little bit about the Hoosier Helmet Challenge.
Yeah, so this idea was kind of born out of Illinois and Iowa, where a couple high school coaches were kicking the tires around and I guess just kind of bored looking for something to do, and have a great affinity for football and the uniforms, and obviously helmets are the most unique part of a football uniform, and so they kind of started it on their own, and it has just kind of boomed over the past couple weeks, past couple days even, with just new states getting in and doing their own challenges. And I said, I'll head up Indiana. I want to be a part of this. And I've gotten great responses from coaches, and a lot of people are excited about it, kicking off here in the next couple days. And eventually the winner of Indiana is going to compete against, we have over 30 states so far that are going to start their own tournaments and get into a national tournament with all the winners from each state.
Aaron Ferguson joins us. He's the assistant sports editor up at the Times up in Northwest Indiana. And, and thanks for allowing Indiana SRN being a part of this. I know you're going to tag us. And if people follow us on Twitter, they'll see the helmets and they'll see the first round coming out and all the way through the national championship. And I guess we're the official station to do that. But we're pretty excited about partnering with you guys. And it should be a lot of fun for everybody.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of cool because I just moved to the region, 6 months ago. And so I didn't even get a full football season up there. I'm hoping I get a full one up in the fall, with everything that's going on. And hopefully there's some normalcy with that. But this is cool, a cool way for me to learn, not just the high schools in the region, but the high schools out in the surrounding state, in the Indianapolis area, the Fort Wayne area, the Evansville area, and really just kind of learn a little bit about each school's history too.
If people wanted to send you a helmet, is it too late to have them send you a photo of their high school helmet, and how can they get that done so they can be in the first round of the competition?
Yeah, if I get a helmet by Monday evening, I'm looking to make the bracket about 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you send it around 8 or so, that'll be great. And you can just send 2 photos to me on Twitter. It is at sports_Aaron, AARON. And yeah, if you just direct message me on Twitter, send me a couple photos and your Twitter account to tag you in as the bracket progresses. It's pretty simple. That's all it is.
And if you're listening out there and you want to follow this competition, you can tag Aaron, or Aaron will be tagging us throughout this whole entire tournament. Aaron, it was a great idea. I'm glad we're part of it. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. I guess we'll talk Thursday, because the first round will be done and we can reveal the first round winners.
Yeah, sounds great.
Hello, this is Deb from Indiana SRN, and I'm here to say thank you to our loyal sponsors, schools, coaches, and friends. Your support continues to keep high school athletics on internet radio and webcast. It is our goal to highlight student athletes throughout our great state. We are scheduled to broadcast over 300 games this season, and you can find us broadcasting at high school football stadiums, basketball and volleyball courts, baseball and softball diamonds, next to the wrestling mats, at lacrosse fields, and the soccer pitch. If you would like to know more about how to get your favorite school on radio or webcast, contact us by email at coach@indianasrn.org. Coach has enjoyed his time with you during the Sports Zone show. Thank you again. And if you're enjoying this show or would like to sponsor any of our broadcasts, you can contact us via email at coach@indianasrn.org. Thank you again for listening and watching Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game. And don't forget to join us Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern for the Sports Zone.
Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
It's coming. It's coming. IPSathletics.tv. High school sports on the World Wide Web. Every big game on IPSathletics.tv. Football, volleyball, basketball, and much more. Coming this fall, IPSathletics.tv. Let the games begin.